Hello, I'm Natalia Lynn, your host, and we will be diving into the topic of music. And I have a special guest who will be joining us to talk about their taste and what it's like as an artist themselves. And hopefully, we get some good information to display and tune in because it's about to be a ride. Welcome back, you music nerds. Here I've got the wonderful, the amazing, spectacular John McLean.
What a marvellous introduction, Natalia. Thank you so much for having me on your episode.
So we've got some questions here about your personal music taste.
Love a
But
question.
we've got one rule. You cannot mention Taylor Swift whatsoever.
That's an outrage.
No, I don't. I've got a blocked ear, right, and I don't need the other one bleeding out, so...
To me, that is shade. I would insert a shade button there, but I hear you. Okay, fair enough. Well, if I'm not allowed to talk about Taylor Swift, can I just talk about how tiny this chair is? By the way,
if you want to,
I'm not going to lie, this is the tiniest chair I've ever sat in, and I don't fit in it with these cushions. I thought, I'll sit and cuddle these cushions because they're quite cosy in here.
I know.
So if I can't talk about Taylor Swift, then I'll at least be cosy and cuddle the cushions.
I'll join you. Right. So, first question.
Oh, I love a question.
If you could see any band or artist, dead or alive, in concert, who would you choose and why?
Oh, that's an interesting question to ask a musician and a gig goer. I think in my life I have literally seen everybody and anybody that I ever wanted to see, and that goes from She Who Shall Not Be Named in this episode to Fleetwood Mac to...
You've seen Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah, I saw Fleetwood Mac. I think that would have been about maybe 2016 or 17, and it was the full lineup with everybody playing, including Christine McVie, Stevie Nicks, Tina Turner's another one, Scissor Sisters, The Gossip, I'll tell you a random story about a band called LCD Sound System. I was obsessed with them when I was about your age, when I was at uni, and it was the final Tea in the Park that happened. When would that have been? About 2017, 18? 19, round about that, late 2010s. The Red Hot Chili Peppers were playing at the same time as LCD Sound System. And I was like, I need to go and see James Murphy play because I'd only ever seen him once when I was younger. And I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to go and see them because I've loved them forever. So I was right at the front of the stage, right? But next to me, randomly, was Maxi Jazz from Faithless, right? And I was like, who's this wee man offering me like a random beer? So I stood there blethering and watching the band and saying, this is amazing. And then it clicked. I was like, oh my God, I'm actually standing here in the pissing rain, in the muck, drinking a bottle of cheap, nasty, whatever beer it was with Maxi Jazz, the lead singer, and superstar for Faithless. So that's one of the best bands I've ever seen. But to answer your question, dead or alive, who would I like to see? I saw Cher, which is quite a big one.
Jealous.
Absolutely, so you should be.
Jealous.
Saw Kylie. I'm trying to think. I think somebody classic like Aretha Franklin would have been on my bucket list because the Queen of Soul, such a consummate performer, I would have loved to have seen her live. So I'll say Aretha Franklin.
I see. Mine would have been Linkin Park in the early 2000s when Chester was alive.
Yeah, I don't think this current Linkin Park version is going to be anything compared to
nothing. Or Michael Jackson.
My God, Michael Jackson. Wham. Yes. Wham would have, George Michael would be brilliant to see, but I sadly don't think that's going to happen.
There's one way.
R.I.P.
Not today. Right, so what album would you say is the best album ever written of all time?
Fleetwood Mac's Rumours. I have to say Fleetwood Mac's Rumours. Or the Scissor Sisters debut album. It also changes for the type of mood I'm in as well.
Yeah.
But because I have albums that I go to for certain times when I'm like tired or when I'm like ready to go out. I also have like I was a former DJ as well, professional in electronic music, so I've got electronica to listen to. But I think a peak album for me would have to be Fleetwood Mac's Rumours. It's timeless, it's classic, it contains some of the best written pop songs of all time. So, and it's always in the charts for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, always. See, I don't know what I'd do if Stevie Nicks died. Like, if she passes away, I'll be gone.
I'll have to take another day off my work because I took a day off, an afternoon off when Christine McVie died. Also had a wee day off when Meatloaf died. Didn't tell anybody, so that's a top secret. But
right, so we'll go with the last one for this part. What's your number one artist of all time?
What kind of question is this to ask a musician?
I know. I like to make it a bit difficult, you know.
I have many artists that I love simultaneously at all times. I have to say Fleetwood Mac are up there. I'd have to say Kylie Minogue's up there as well. Taylor Swift.
Ooh,
but also the likes of Aretha Franklin. I'm a big electronica person as well. So there's a band called Soul Wax. They have an outfit called Too Many DJs as well. There's a singer called Peaches who does really nasty, sleazy electronica.
I know who you're on about.
I actually DJ'd for Peaches once upon a time over in a place called the Keller Club in Germany, in Stuttgart. I think that's a question I would need to ponder upon and get you back to you in that. But I've many artists for different reasons as well.
Yeah,
but that's something that I would definitely add to a playlist.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Well, next up, I want to talk about more of your sort of stuff as you're a musician yourself.
Do you mean talk about myself?
I mean, in music, obviously. We'll be here all day if we were.
I don't know if I'll be able to talk about myself.
I wonder. Right, okay. So, what's the best song you'd say you've ever wrote/made?
Oh, that's a good one. As I said earlier in the episode, I worked as a DJ as well, and I used to be a session musician, and I toured the world playing in various clubs and venues with amazing artists, and also as myself as an artist and DJ. But when it comes to my songwriting, I'm inspired by a lot of different things, and I don't think I put myself in like a genre box. I've actually got forthcoming stuff that's coming out very, very soon, and every song is totally different. Songs that I've released 2 cover versions, believe it or not. One is a cover version of Candy Statton's Young Hearts Run Free. It's actually for one of my pals who asked if I could record the version. I was like, no bother. Another one was a Connie Francis song called You're Gonna Miss Me, and that was actually for my gran, and that was a charity single. I've released a couple of other singles as well, but one of my all-time things that I'm really proud of is it's a song called Hizashi, and it's produced by me, it's written by me, I'm singing in it, but I'm singing in English and Japanese as well, and I'm also playing the saxophone in it. That's one of my proudest achievements as a musician, because I did my degree in Japanese, and I thought I want to do something to commemorate this, because it's quite a big thing, learning a language, especially at my age as well. And I thought putting that into song and actually working with, it was my former lecturer, Adia, and one of my friends, Kenji Lam, they helped me with my translations to make sure it made sense. And I think that's one of my proudest moments as a producer, actually.
With the language as well, I know a little bit of Italian and French that I'm still working on, and
it's hard to keep up with, because when I was younger, I learned French and I also learned Spanish, and I can get by conversationally. The more I'm around people who speak that language, the more it kind of comes back to me. With Japanese, I literally don't have anybody to speak to.
I know.
But it's good, but I'm impressed with anybody who learns languages and tries to keep up with them, because it is.
I think it's definitely something people should do as well, because
100%.
It just makes you better, man.
It just improves the brain, and it improves the absorption of information, and it just keeps the old brain ticking along. And what a fantastic thing to have at your disposal, being able to communicate in another language with people who you might not be able to communicate with. I just think anybody that learns languages, I take my hat off to them.
Definitely. I'll move on to the next one quickly, because we like to take time here.
John is a talker.
What drew you to making music, and how has that motivation evolved?
I actually started my music career when I was at secondary school, when I would have been about 11. When I was much younger, I had a keyboard instructor who was actually from one of the Scottish rave bands in the 90s. It was either QFX, TTF, or something like that. And I learned a lot about it when I was younger, but when I was at secondary school, I had a fantastic music teacher called Christina Asley. She's no longer with us, sadly. And she really took me under her wing. She was my private piano teacher. Then I also learned saxophone, and I went through my grades 1 to 8 in piano, music theory and saxophone while I was at secondary school. And it was, my parents were really encouraging. They were also instrumental in getting me my instruments, and also getting me into DJing as well, and producing and songwriting. So I started from a very young age in music. I then left school. I performed in orchestras, bands, solo. I was DJing in places and venues and school parties, etc., school discos, etc. And then when I left school and started university, I've always had that kind of entrepreneurial brain. I want to work in the creative industries. I'm also from a small town in southwest Scotland where opportunities are no vast.
I feel you.
So I've known from a young age that if you want to do something, you've got to have the stick-with-itness and the innovation and entrepreneurial flair to make things happen for yourself. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's because of this person and that person, and not to sound narcissistic or too much a dick, but I've made opportunities happen for myself because I've been so fixated on I want this, and what I want I always get. So for a young age, I think that's fair advice. And you're working in the creative industries as well, as are your colleagues, and it's having essentially the balls to stick with it. If you want some, go and get it. See if there's barriers in your way, kick them down. You know what I mean? So a young age, piano, saxophone, vocals, music theory, and that just led from one thing to another, which led me, as I said earlier, to some fantastic opportunities, DJing, being a musician, venturing into audio journalism and podcasting, and look at me now. I'm just...
I know, you're a star.
I'm a star.
You are
I am a star. Thank you.
Right, and to wrap this up with my final question, what would you advise to those that inspire to become musicians themselves?
This is one of these questions where you hear a lot of people all the time going, oh, just chase your dreams, etc. Chase your dreams and something will happen one day. No, my advice is, if you, as I just said there, if you want to work as a musician or in the creative industries, as I said, the jobs are very, very slim, far and few between. Nobody is going to come and hand you anything. You need to work. You need to work harder. You need to be seen. You need to make yourself visible. You need to have a presence, and you need to be creating a name and a brand for yourself. Nobody is out there is going to do that for you. And if you want to work in the creative industries, it's one of the most difficult and challenging industries, but really rewarding industries to get into. And it's about making sure you are employable, you have the right skills, you've got lots of skills in different areas, and it's about trying things out. A lot of people have got like an aversion to uncertainty, or maybe a bit of imposter syndrome sometimes. Oh, I'm not good enough. Fuck that, essentially. I used to suffer from imposter syndrome and all this, and then I realised, no, do you know something? I'm actually very, very good at what I do. I'm actually a master of my craft. And I think my one piece of advice is self-belief, stick-with-itness is another thing. This is a weird word that I learned from a podcast a while ago from a drag queen. Stick-with-itness is the ability to, if you want to do something, do it. Try it. Get better. Try it again. You'll make mistakes. Does mistakes matter? No, really. See if something fucks up and it fails, who cares? Get back up, try it again. Find solutions. I don't know if any of this is making sense. I feel as if I'm going off a TED talk. But I think stick-with-itness to me is try something out and see if it works, great. See if it doesn't, try it again. Make incremental changes. But if you want to work as a musician, you want to work in the creative industries, it's hard graft. And you've got to make things happen for yourself. And I think knowing your own value, I've got to the age in my career, the age and stage in my career where I know what my value is, and I now make money for my creativity and my practice, and that's what everybody that I work with at Ayrshire College and teach aspires to do as well. Believing in yourself, trying things out, no stopping, and also it's about the commitment to seeing things through. It's a tiring industry. It's an industry where people burn out very, very easily. You've got to take care of yourself, but you've also got to have the drive. And if you don't have the drive, that's cool. This maybe isn't for you. But if you want something badly, what have you got to lose by trying? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. It answers it quite perfectly. Well, John, it's been a pleasure having you here, and I hope I didn't harass you with too many questions.
I could talk here forever.
It's
been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for having me on your episode.
Anytime. Maybe next semester.
Here's hoping.
Ta-da. Sadly, that's all we've got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the one and only John for being on my little show. And ciao, amigos.